I mean, you can use, like I said, you can use all kinds of different stuff to be able to fill these with, and you've got an appetizer that really has quite a wow factor
Yeah.
in no time
Oh, they
whatsoever.
look beautiful when they come out too.
Yeah,
They look so beautiful.
I'm gonna do one tray of them, and then I'm gonna wrap the other one in saran, and I'm gonna go ahead and pop it in the freezer, and so we can go back to it. So if
How
you,
long can you hang on to those?
oh my goodness, they freeze so well, especially
Yeah.
if they're wrapped in saran, because it's puff pastry. So you got a good 6 months on them.
Wow.
So,
That's awesome.
you know, you make a batch of them, you do 4 or 5 logs at a time, throw them in the freezer.
You got all
and
your
then-
parties taken care of, all your
Yeah,
winter parties.
That's it, all
cool.
at one time. So let's get a couple more of these out, and then I'm gonna have you put them in the oven for me.
Sounds great. Let me just wash my hands real quick before
Yes,
I
because you're done porking.
get all that yucky pork juice off of myself.
The tenderloins are gonna be absolutely delicious with the mushrooms. You can do this dish with a pork tenderloin, or you can do it with a beef tenderloin. This same mushroom duxelle would also be fantastic stuffed in a ravioli.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that would be delicious.
What do you think about that one, huh?
We should do that next week.
Mushroom raviolis, wild mushroom raviolis. All right, let's get these even on the tray, because they are going to puff up a little bit, because it is puff pastry. And there we go. That's what they look like. And then Rob's going to go ahead and pop them in the oven for me. That's that. Let's move this one right out of the way, and I'll wrap it in saran after. And I'm going to move on to filling your pork. You probably want to give your knife a good rinse
The
before
knife
you
and
get
the board
started.
are both going to have to disappear.
I'm going to take your board right away, because the same thing I just did by filling the puff pastry, I'm going to do with the tenderloin. So we're just going to take, Rob opened these up nice for me. Going to flatten them out a little bit. And then we're going to go ahead and fill them. So while I'm doing this, what are you going to work on?
I guess I'll just start the mushroom ragu. We can start chopping up these lovely, beautiful mushrooms that Doogie brought you.
Nice.
And get the celery, fennel, and carrots going. We're going to get it all on the stove real quick. And
So what's going into your ragu? You're going to put some celery,
Yep.
some carrots,
Yep.
fennel, mushrooms.
Yep, and I got some beautiful leeks.
Okay.
I got some shallots and some onions.
Tell me about why your leeks are in the water, Rob.
Oh yeah. Oh well, if you look closely at these, you can really see that dirt in there. You got to really rinse them, and you
Yeah.
got to really, really get them nice and soaked, or else you're gonna bite into it and you're gonna get that gritty, nasty,
So what? It's like a
hurt your
little,
teeth taste. So you got to soak them.
a little leek bath.
Yeah, it's a little bath.
Giving the leeks a bath.
Yeah, they're loving it.
Loving it. All right, you go ahead and get started on your stuff, and I'm going to do the same thing again. Like I said, I'm just going to fill these with the mushroom duxelle, and then I'm going to show you how to tie them. Just a basic butcher's tie. Get these all yummied up. And don't be afraid to use your hands. Again, as you've heard me say many times, like my grandmother always said,
Get in there.
if your hands aren't in it, it doesn't taste as good. All right, all the way down to the end, so every bite gets some mushroom in there.
Oh, that looks delicious.
Yeah, it's gonna be
I
really
cannot
yummy.
wait to eat some of that.
Let's get a little bit more over here on this side. And there's just a little left. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and kind of give these a little roll. They're not going to really roll back up because it's not that big of a cut of meat, but you just want to get the mushroom inside and seal the edges a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Get all
Just
those
like that.
mushroom juices flowing through there.
Yeah, get it all yummied in there. And then we'll do the other one. Just kind of tuckle it all in. And if a little bit comes out, well, you know, that's the crispy stuff that's around the edges.
Those are your snacky side treats when it comes out of the oven.
That's the yummy stuff. All right, now we've got my towel to wipe my hands off. So just regular old butcher's twine we're going to use.
You can use just regular string as well,
Yeah,
right? If you have it floating around the house.
As long as it's a nice cotton string.
Yep.
That doesn't have, not like a twine that's like the brown twine.
Yeah.
Because then some of the fibers will get into your food and you don't really want to eat that.
Yeah,
But
nobody wants to eat that.
no. So all we're gonna do is, let's turn this a little bit so you can see what I'm doing here. We're gonna get right up underneath the meat, just on the end, and we're gonna tie our first knot. And we just want a regular knot. Don't squeeze it too tight because we don't want all the filling to ooze out the ends. Okay, we're gonna come right up along the side, and we're gonna hold your finger here, scoot it under the meat, and then through. So see what happens? As we've got a nice little, so it just tightens up a little bit. We're gonna go and do that again. We're gonna go down. We're gonna scoot it under the meat. Oops, throwing duxelle everywhere. And through. And it closes that up nice and tight. And we'll do that again. Hold our finger. Come under the meat. Come up through. And give it a little tug.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it looks a lot more complicated than it really is. So you can do this with beef tenderloins, you can do it with pork tenderloins, you can do it with almost anything. And then I'm gonna try to hook the tail in, so I'm kinda gonna go around the end and then come up through the same twine again to just kinda tighten the tail in. And then we're gonna finish it, just making a knot and finishing off. Oops, right up through and make myself a knot. And then one more time just to make sure it's secure. Right up through and then just through with a knot. Okay, so that's the first one. All ready to go, and let's turn the board around and I'm gonna do the other one. I'll just get rid of that twine. And start with a fresh piece. So while I'm doing the second one, you want to tell everybody about what you're using for vegetables and talk about some cuts and all that good stuff?
Yeah. Well, on the fennel that I am cutting right now, I'm going to want a little bit of a smaller dice because it's got a really licoricey flavor. And if you're eating the mushroom duxelles and it's going with the ragu and the creamy polenta, you don't want a big bite of licorice in there. So I'm going to dice this really, really small.
So if I'm at the grocery store and I'm looking for fennel, it's called something else too sometimes?
It can also be called anise as well, which is more classically known as the licorice taste.
Right.
But yeah, I'm going to try and get these as small as I possibly can without them melting away into the ragu, which wouldn't be too much of a bad thing.
I was going to say, that sounds like it would be a nice background flavor.
But I like a little bit of the crunch to it, so I'm just going to say, this is probably a small dice. It's about, 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch.
Now, in your classic French training, what would you call that, Rob?
Oh, no, brunoise would be an 1/8 of an inch by an 1/8 of an inch.
Excuse me. We go back and forth at the restaurant because all the time. Because although
How do you want that cut, Inch? You want a brunoise on there? You want a 1/4 inch cut? Cut it. Make it look good.
although I too was trained, Rob did his training in the south of France, so he got a lot of very technical French training, whereas I cook a little more rustically. So
There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
I love it. It's a great change for me.
So we tease each other a lot. Do you want an Angela chop or you want a Rob chop?
Yeah.
All right, finishing off the end on my other one, tucking it in, and we're almost ready to sear. Ooh, I can start to smell stuff in the oven.
Oh, those are looking beautiful.
Are they puffing up already?
Oh,
Oh, yes
sure.
they are.
I'm going to get this cast iron skillet heated up for you if you're getting close to searing.
I am. I'm almost ready. You're just going to have to salt and pepper them and give them a good sear.
Oh, these look great, Ange.
Give a little wipe down. And I'm gonna cut some mushrooms, I guess. These are the big crazy ones. These are the chicken of the woods. And
Yeah, those are really cool. I really like those a lot.
I'm just gonna start chopping. So what are you doing over there?
I'm gonna get a nice little salt and pepper crust on here, so when we sear it, we're gonna seal all that flavor right into the top over the mushrooms. Because nobody likes bland pork.
No. Wow. Okay. I'll just keep cutting mushrooms. I'll let Rob deal with the stove. There we go.
It's coming back.
So when we're cleaning the mushrooms, you want to make sure that you get all of the underside off. There's usually some dirt or some grass or whatever from them growing outside in the wild. So again, these look really wild. They're really, really delicious, sauteed in a little bit of butter and scrambled in with some eggs. They work fantastic in soups. You can use them in stews, or like we're going to do today with the ragu. And again, we used them in the duxelle to make the palmieri's with.
Brighten it up a little bit. Gives it a little color.
It gives it a little color, yeah. So I'm just going to match the dice that you already did?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because those are gonna, you could do them a little larger if you like, because they're gonna shrink up just a little bit with the heat.
Okay. So, and this is our trash pile over here.
And this pork is just about ready to go in.
Oh, can't wait to hear that.
It's a good sound.
There it is. That's what we're looking for, the sizzle.
One of my favorite sounds in the world.
You want to make sure that your pan's really hot when you're doing your pork tenderloins, because you're looking to get a nice caramelization, a nice sear on them. You want to peek at the palmieri's?
Absolutely. Oh, they're looking beautiful.
They're all puffy, getting ready.
Check them out. I'd say we've got about another 2 minutes left on those.
Perfect.
Oh, they smell unbelievable.
Can't wait to try those. All right, I'm doing some of the chickens. You want to do some of the hens?
Absolutely. These are the really fun ones to grow inside of those oak trees.
They both actually grow on an oak tree.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
I was unaware that the chickens did.
Yeah, the chickens, the hens when we went picking,
Yep.
they were growing all around the base of the tree. Now the chickens, wait till you see the footage from the woods. The chickens were like almost halfway up the tree.
Oh, really?
See, now you're cutting that out. Doogie, the mushroom guy, told me that that's part of the really good stuff, is the white fleshy stuff.
Yep.
Let me get you a bowl to put, oh, you got a thing, to put all the dirty stuff in?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, let's keep on chopping then.
Oh, that pork smells unbelievable.
So it's a nice fall themed dinner party. The pork and mushroom. All right. So we're going to use things like thyme and what are we using to deglaze with? We're going to use some brandy today.
Use a little brandy. Brandy pairs perfectly with mushrooms.
Yeah. I think that I got enough of these. What do you think?
Oh, I think that's more than enough.
Yeah. Again, the color is going to be beautiful in there. So I got a little nub left for breakfast tomorrow morning.
Yeah, make some scrammies.
Yeah. All right. I'm actually going to peek on your. I'm going to go ahead and peek at his tenderloins. Oh, beautiful. They look beautiful. Let me move this out of the way real quick so we can see the perfect sear that's going on these. The color we've got is gorgeous. See, we're losing a little bit of the duxelle, but that's going to happen. We've got plenty in there.
Flavor that right up.
Yeah. Rob, I'm gonna ask you to go ahead and move that pan forward for me.